And we're back. UFC 280 recap for the MMA Lock Talk on this 37th episode, October 24th, 2022. Am I still trying to recover from this past weekend? Maybe. But a lot of big things happening on this last event, which makes it a lot easier to get up for these streams, especially the first one of the week, especially from the the Monday episodes. Usually it's the hardest to get up for, but so much to talk about with the fallout of UFC 280. If you guys missed it, me and Clint did a pretty much an immediate recap over on the Deadlock Podcast channel, where I was still very much sloshed and very much feeling it. So you guys got my raw and unfiltered views right after that, so make sure you guys check that out if you haven't already. But at least this episode gives us a couple days to ingest it, a couple days for me to get over this hangover, and then eventually get back to you guys with a little bit more thought out ideas and stances and points of view. So appreciate everybody hanging with us on this Monday. Again, I'll just go off on my quick little intro rant slash. Oh, does it sound very low? Ooh, 1 second. Check. All right. How does that sound? Let me know, guys. It seemed like I was fine before. It might be a little bit too loud right now. Let me guys know. Let me know how that sounds. All right. Is it too loud? Like, am I clipping? Can you guys hear any of that? It's buzzing. Okay, give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. All right, let's give that a try. I think I am able to have fixed it. Hey, the positives and negatives of being a one man show over here. Let me know if the volume is good or not. But that should have rectified the. All right, sick. Yeah, that should have rectified the buzzing issue at least. Okay, sick. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Nice stumble here on the Monday edition of the MMA Lock Talk. Like I was saying, a lot to talk about coming off that UFC 280 show. Me and Clint went live right after the event wrapped up, and you guys got my unfiltered and stupidly drunken thoughts on the Deadlock podcast. If you guys weren't able to check that out, make sure you guys do. But I finally got a couple days to just recover. Obviously, I was very sloshed that night, and then a couple days to get my thoughts together as well about this card. So, very much looking forward to talking about UFC 280, answering all the questions. Um, just to give you guys a peek into what ended up happening after I went offline. Um, the wife brought home some one of my favorite ribs from around here, so we were able to dig into that. Um, I don't recall. I think I just kept on drinking after that. Um, this is what happened. I went outside to take Alfred out for just to let him go pee, and my neighbor was out, and his significant other was out as well, and they were already drinking a little bit. So, we're talking. They just found out it was my birthday, so they're saying happy birthday. And then as I'm talking to the guy, his significant other goes back into their house, comes back out with a glass, like a drink, and also a shot of something as well. So we down the shot, we have the drink. He goes, "You should come over afterwards." I'm like, fuck it, I guess I will. So once the wife got back home with the ribs, we chatted on the ribs. I went over to his place, literally my next door neighbor. Like if I open up my side door, I'm facing his side door. So I just got into his place there, and we just started drinking some more. This guy is I'm not calling him an alcoholic. He is a functioning alcoholic, if anything, but he is a very successful electrician. Pretty much lives by himself in this 2,500 square foot home. Very cool dude, works hard but plays just as hard. He has like a pretty much his cold room is all alcohol from all over different parts of the world, and then his cold room has a cold room where he has even more alcohol. Like anything you want, this guy fucking has it. So um it was cool just hanging with him. He has like a nice theater set up as well in his basement. So we're just chilling there. We watch Andrew Schultz's special. I know he loves, flagrant stuff like that. So we hung out, we drank until like 2 a.m. And then I eventually got back home and I was just way too fucked up. Couldn't sleep. Woke up the next day just absolutely hungover. Eventually, when I was able to fall asleep, I woke up hungover as shit. Yesterday was a complete write off. Thankfully, in the evening, we had my backyard neighbors come by, made some goat meat, some naan and all that stuff. Had a really good time hanging out with them. And then today woke up finally, you know, re-energized to get the week started in terms of breaking down fights and getting the content out there. I've only been able to research one fight so far on this upcoming card, which ends up being my lock of the night play anyway. But I still have 9 more fights to get through, which I'm going to be doing a little bit later this evening. So if you're on the Patreon, you'll start to notice that the best bets and props article will get updated throughout this evening. And then I hope to have it completely researched and finished and recorded tomorrow evening, and you'll see my MMA Lockcast drop tomorrow as well with all my breakdowns. So make sure you guys check that out whenever that does drop. And as my guy Sarab Kumar is saying here, happy Diwali for sure to every single one of you guys, for anybody that celebrates it. If you live anywhere near Indians, you'll be seeing a bunch of fireworks tonight. So make sure you guys keep your eyes peeled for that. Enjoy those festivities. I'll be hitting up the temple right after this with the wife, just say our prayers real quick, come back, and then I'm going to get back into the tape studying and getting to work on this weekend's card. So looking forward to that. All right, let's get into the live chat now. We're about 11 minutes into the stream. Let's get into the live chat. Let me wet the whistle real quick, and then we will get into what everybody's saying. Lajuan Dream in the chat, as you is. Don't panic. R saying still a profitable weekend. Sean Brady screwed me. Dillashaw Sterling doesn't go to decision. Save me. Yes. I did pick Brady. No bet there. And I had Dillashaw, and it would have been great to know he was going in with a severely injured shoulder. And the fact that it was injured way back in April makes me a little bit more pissed off. One, at Dillashaw for even still accepting the fight, right? Just pull out. You're still so early. Pull out, rehab that shoulder, do whatever the hell you have to do, and then give yourself an actual fighting chance to win that fight when it actually takes place. Two, medical staff. What's going on? How are we passing this guy to go out there and fight? The shoulder popped out on the first grappling exchange. There's no way that should have passed any sort of medical test. So the fact that he got away with that, I think it's a little bit sketchy to begin with. Not saying that, the UFC was in on it and blah, 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 but like I've been behind the scenes of the MMA world. You have to get medical tests before you can get cleared to fight. How did he pass his medical test, especially if this was over 6 months ago? Absolutely crazy to me. Lajuan in the chat saying happy belated birthday. Sorry I couldn't make it to the watch along. It's all good, my friend. Andy Price saying happy belated. The hangover has finally surpassed. I'm good. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Noel Murphy in the chat saying hope your Saturday is joyous. Aljo came through for me. The biggest one of my life. 8 units straight and 3 units on the inside the distance at plus 350. A little bit of an asterisk on that win, but a cash ticket is a cash ticket. Good to you, or good for you, my friend. Very happy to hear that. Then we got the audio issues back to being good now. Paizo DFS saying, what's going on? Like, how are you feeling after the birthday festivities? I am feeling much better than I was yesterday. And, this weekend was a perfect reminder as to why I don't like drinking often, because I just hate the after effects. I hate how it makes me feel. And even though I went about it the way that I normally do, which is every time I have to go pee while I'm drinking, I'll just come back and down a cup of water or a glass of water. Usually that helps. It did not help this weekend. So I was definitely feeling it yesterday. Not a good look. Usman saying, what is up with this card? It's down to 10 fights from 14. It was 9. Yeah. They had lost a couple fights over the last couple of days, but Cody Durden just getting a return or a replacement now. He's going up against LFA champion Carlos Mota. Carlos finally making his UFC debut. He was on the cusp of it had he beaten Charles Johnson last year, but Charles Johnson ends up getting his hand raised in that title fight. Back and forth, crazy fight. Charles gets called up to the UFC, obviously loses his debut against Muhammad Makayev, but now Carlos Mota also in the UFC. Can't wait to break that fight down for you guys. Very much looking forward to it. Knowing a guy like Carlos Mota, he is training all year round. He is ready to go on, on a drop of a dime to make weight when he needs to. So I think he'll be fine, given this fight is on short notice. But yeah, finally happy to see inside the UFC. Jeff K in the chat saying, gonna go cleanse the booze out. It's already cleansed, my man. It's already good. It's just getting back into the swing of things here. Lajuan Dream saying initial thoughts on Toporia versus Mitchell. I guess he thought if he pulled out, he wouldn't get the shot again. So I get it, but at the same time, goddamn. Oh, he's talking about TJ here. Let me answer your first question here. Thoughts on Toporia versus Mitchell. Interested to see what the odds are there. Yeah, I mean, hype trains on both sides. I feel like the odds are actually out now that I'm thinking about it. Let me check out best fight odds here. Yeah, Bet Online does have odds out. Minus 210 on Ilya Topuria, plus 180 the return on Bryce Mitchell. From a betting standpoint, I have no real interest in betting this fight. Maybe I'll lean the Bryce Mitchell side ever so slightly, but I really don't have much interest in betting it. Toporia should be the better overall fighter here, but Bryce might be able to expose Ilya should he get this fight to the ground and he actually be the stronger grappler. But I'd be surprised. I think Toporia is the stronger grappler here, and I think that Toporia is the better striker. I'm just not willing to pay minus 210 on it. Now getting to the second comment that you had here, maybe he wouldn't get the shot again. I'm sure he would have gotten the shot again. Like he has the name value, he has that win over Gory Sandhagen. He would have gotten another title shot when he was healthy. What also comes to mind to me is that maybe he needs to get paid. I mean, the last fight that he had was July 2021. He's been out for a year and almost a half at this point in time, or I'd say 14 months now. Let's call it 14 months. Maybe he needed the paycheck. White House Troll saying back to the daily grind. You know what it is, my friend. Lajon saying, don't matter how much water you drink when you drink for 12 plus hours. Yes. He's saying next day is always rough. Yes. I was drinking from 10:30 a.m. all the way until 2 a.m. the next day. So, or yeah, the next day. So was that 12, almost 16 hours of drinking. That was crazy. Sarb saying, anyone who knew about Dillashaw shoulder must have made a ton. That is true. I just don't know how many people actually knew about it. Still shitty. Lajuan saying both Mitchell and Topuria undefeated. Someone's has got to go. This fight is actually on UFC 282, which is the last pay-per-view of the year, December 10th, if I'm not mistaken. But it would have been nice to get a 5-rounder here. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if they could have made it the November 5th pay-per or main event. But apparently Topuria won't be able to wait that quickly. Shout out to Damon Jackson, who was pounding his drum to try to get that fight with Bryce Mitchell to main event the next fight night. They didn't want it. Maybe it's too dangerous of a fight in terms of fighting down and not really having much benefit if you do get the win. But at least the main event slot would have given that extra publicity that he might have needed to go over the edge. But is what it is. Jeff K saying TJ has made a mockery of the sport twice now. That's true. Jeff also saying, but realistically, there needs to be a union so he could get some compensation to pay his team and not fight. I agree. I agree. Yeah, a very unfortunate situation all around there. Lajuan saying it ain't day drinking if you don't start in the morning. That is true. I was getting fucked up all day. Pazzo saying Durden minus 145. Mota plus 125 for that bout, according to best fight odds. I don't know. I'm intrigued to take a small stab on Mota there at plus 125. I'd have to watch this. Well, I got to watch the tape on him, right? The only fight that I've actually watched of his was that Charles Johnson back and forth fight. So let me watch that back. But overall, he might be the better fighter than Cody Durden. Joe or Jay saying, glad TJ Not Huggers got served, cashed huge, but they still praise a cheater. Aljo will never get respect from trash MMA fans. Someone is mad. Aljo will get that respect. Like, I'll say this: the Piotr Jan win, like not the DQ one, but the other one where he silenced the doubters per se, that was a clean win. People can say what they want to about the decision, but he went out there, he made it a close fight, he won that fight, he got my respect from that fight. But I still felt TJ was a bad stylistic matchup for him. We can't really know. We can't really know uh, how that fight would have went if he was truly healthy, because you definitely need your shoulder when you're fighting a guy like Aljamain Sterling. Lajuan Dream saying Patty and Toporia on the same card again too. Bet they will have some back and forth. Yeah, that's right. Kind of surprised they didn't put that one together, but I kind of get it. I kind of get it. Jeff K saying, "Oh, he's known since April." Should I missed that? Yes, he said since April it was popping out like 20 plus times, um, but he just fucking trained through it. Not a good look. Let's see. Lajon saying, yeah, he said he blew it out in April and Discord about 20 times. That's true. David Dean in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, my friend, saying, Locke, you have always been huge on Allen. What do you think of this matchup against Cater? Thanks. I haven't done the research as of yet. I was big on, well, not big, but like I picked Allen to beat Sadiq Yusuf, got that dub. I actually did have a little bit of a bet on Dan Hooker against Arnold Allen. Didn't really work out the way that I thought, but Calvin Cater is probably what I was hoping for in that Dan Hooker fight. Somebody that could likely take the big shots on Allen should he want to go rabies like he did on Dan Hooker, but also a guy that could put the output there. It could be the guy that, just put volume and numbers on Arnold Allen. So, yeah, I lean Cater. Kind of surprised to see the line flip over the last couple of days. Well, I see Calvin Cater now minus 105, plus 105 on a couple of spots as well. But yeah, a couple of days ago, Cater was the minus 125 favorite. So money coming in on Allen. I will likely be on the Cater side should I like everything I end up seeing on tape and research after that. Aaron Quillis in the chat saying, Bovada cleaned me out with a lot of exposure on Yan and Dillashaw. Bummed, but time to bounce back. Hope you had a great birthday. You know I did, brother. You know I did. But bets wise, didn't do the greatest, but it was great to kind of put the stamp on the night with that Islam Makhachev inside the distance. It was, I made my dog of the night video on Volkan Uzmi. Obviously, that didn't really go my way, but knowing the hype that I would have gotten should I just talked about the main event in that video, I'm sure I would have gotten so much hate for that pick. Is what it is. But Islam Makhachev going out there and showcasing that Sambo, if it was easier, would be called jiu-jitsu, right? What wasn't that the shirt that Khabib wore way back in the day that everybody got pissed off at? It's a perfect example. Perfect fucking example. Paz was saying, how did that free NFL bet end up going, Lock? So actually, I kept trying to place it, but it wouldn't place. But what I found out quickly thereafter was it was a $25 free bet for a 1-game NFL parlay. So I just, without even talking to anybody or even looking up whether it's a good bet or not, I made one for today's game. And I will share that with you guys as soon as I can pull this up. Give me 1 second here. Again, this is coming from a guy that does not watch football, is just going off the fact that New England were the favorites here. So this is what my same game parlay for tonight's NFL game is. Where is it? My bets. All right, here we go. Moneyline Patriots. M Jones 170 plus passing yards. Patriots to get to 10 points first. And for the total game to go over 39.5 points. Once again, Patriots money line. M Jones 170 plus passing yards. Patriots first to get to 10 points and over 39.5 in the game total. A $25 free bet to win $58 is what it is. Let me know what you guys think that is. Or whether that does any, whether that hits or not. Let me know if I cash that ticket. Olajuwon saying, wonder if Patty and Toporia will match up next after their 282 fights. I think they're in different weight classes though, right? Topuria is down at 145 now and Patty's up at 55. No way, I don't know how much Topuria actually wants to take that fight to the ground. Joe saying it's just messed up that even after all that fans and media are praising TJ for toughness and shitting on Aljo's win, I wouldn't shit on Aljo's win, right? It's not his fault that TJ came into that fight injured. He just went out there and did what the fuck he needed to do. It's just, yeah, like I see a comment down here saying that's MMA fans though. Praise the cheater like TJ, wife here like Jones, and guys like Connor. Yet shit on normal dudes like Usman and Aljo. Yeah, I kind of get it. I know what you mean. It's very weird what MMA fans latch onto and then what they just decide not to. David saying, Lock, thoughts on the Hamza incident and ensuing Khabib squashing the beef video? I I don't know what to think about that. Like, I don't know what the stir up was from to begin with, so I can't really put what my thoughts were on that. It just seemed like he got into it with the Bubakar and then they squashed it afterwards. I think Habib really wants to be a perfect representative of what his father was preaching, right? Just be a good guy, preach positivity, peace, and unity. And I think that's what he's doing. I think he was the mafia boss walking in on both these guys and be like, hey, the fuck, guys, what is this bullshit? Why are you guys going off on each other like that? Lajon saying, who the fuck is Data 5000? He came from like street fight stuff. He had this fight with Kimbo Slice and Bellator where it looked like he was going to fucking die because they were both gassed out. And then it ended up being Kimbo that died a couple months after that fight. But yeah, Data 5000, he's like a street fights legend kind of guy. Puzzle DFS thing. That all sounds good, but I'm worried about the over. Fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. David saying I would do 135 just like this. Jan versus Cheeto, Sugar versus Sandhagen, Aldo versus Cejudo. Well, Aldo's done. Aldo's not coming back. He is officially retired. I think they will likely do Sugar, or sorry, do you mean Aljo and Cejudo? That might have been a typo on your end. Aljo Cejudo. Again, I'm not even thinking about Cejudo uh, until a matchup is actually announced. I don't even want to hear his name if I'm being honest. I think they'll do like they could run with this. They could do Aljo versus O'Malley, and say what you want about the decision, but they're not going to give Yan a title shot coming off a loss. Essentially, they did it for Sandhagen, so there's that. But I think they want to capitalize on this Sean O'Malley thing, give him a title shot. I would love to see Yan versus Cheeto. I think that's the best way to do it. Do Sugar versus O'Malley, and then Sandhagen. I guess he kind of just sorry, Sugar versus Aljo, and then Sandhagen is just sitting on the outside looking in. Maybe him versus Dominic Cruz. They haven't done that matchup yet, right? You can do a lot with that top of the 135-pound division. Lajon saying we'll love to see Sugar versus Sandhagen at some point. Me too. Lajon saying I thought you didn't like NFL for some reason. I'm not. I just never followed it, but for some reason, BetMGM is giving me a free or NFL bet, so I just had to use it. Twin Norieno saying, I don't want to live in a world where O'Malley is considered a better fighter than Jan. I don't know if we can say that. He beat him that night, but did he though? It doesn't usually have to be like if a fighter beats another one that he is better than him or is considered a better fighter. Like he was the better guy that night. And I think that was the case with that matchup. Lajon Dream saying Hamza seems like he has a short fuse. Oh, for sure. For sure. He's getting into so many goddamn scuffles. Paizo saying the Hamza incident was so stupid. It was all apparently because he slapped a Bubakar on the belly, congratulating him, and a Bubakar took offense. Then it just escalated. Crazy how insensitive. Wow, really? That is so dumb. If that's what it was, that is so dumb. Aaron's saying Data 5000 literally had a heart attack inside the cage. It honestly, hey, Elijah Dream, search up Data 5000 versus Kimbo Slice. It might be one of the worst fights we've ever seen, but just pure hilarity as to the fact that these guys were gassed within 3 minutes of that fight. And it went the full distance. Please watch that fight. Hilarious shit. David Dean saying people smarter than me say Hamza Khabib beef has to do with politics also. Habib is such an honorable human being. His interviews are a mandatory watch. I don't know. They all usually hang around the same guys, if I'm not mistaken. Matt R in the chat saying Cejudo is coming back. Lock, no reason for any reluctance. Is he though? Is he? Like it's the whole John Jones thing as well. Until I see an official matchup, uh, until I see an official matchup or an announcement, I don't give a fuck about those guys. Lajon saying apparently Data 5000 has a fight book, first one since 2016. Probably the Kimbo fight. That's probably what it was. Black M3 in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, my friend. David Dean saying can't do Aljo versus Sugar. Sugar doesn't want it. UFC doesn't want it. Fans don't want it. Only Aljo wants it. Really? Sugar saying he doesn't want that fight? I'm surprised. Black M3 saying Cheeto versus Aljo. Then if Cheeto beats Aljo, Sean O'Malley for the rematch. Imagine that storyline. That would be sick. That would be sick. Paja saying Brandon Olivas is showing that the Mota line is moving heavy. Already at minus 160. Not sure what book in his screenshot. Damn, I really got to tape that shit sooner. Well, I'm sure like limits are fucking super like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. Holy shit. This is bet online. So Carlos Mota opened up plus 125 and now he's all the way at minus 175. Holy shit. That's within minutes, guys. That is within minutes. The line opened at 416. It is now 431, and it's all the way down to plus or minus 175. Crazy. Lajon saying I'm gonna have to def check out Dada versus Kimbo. Go for it. Puzzle saying he got 500 on each line. I don't know what the limits are. He's saying he did 500 at plus 125, minus 115, minus 160. Yeah. So every time the line moves, you're allowed to limit it out again. And I guess the limits are $500 there. Interesting. Worth it, though. I'd say it's worth it. Up to minus 160, I don't know. Got to run the tape. But Mota, definitely, from what I remember, a better fighter than what I remember being or seeing from Cody Durden. So interesting. So, quick thoughts. Islam Charles, good win for Islam. I'm glad that kind of dispelled the whole Charles thing. Islam against Volkanovski next. That's what it's looking like. I think there are already odds on that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Islam minus 300 on DraftKings against Volkanovski is plus 255. Bet Online has minus 360, Makachev plus 285, Volkanovski. I think those are stupid lines. You know, I mean, we're talking about Volkanovski pound for pound, one of the best fighters of all time. The fact that you can get him at plus 285 is an auto bet. I love Makachev as much as the next guy, but no way Volkanovski should be that big of a dog. I definitely bet Volkanovski if those are the odds. Co-main event, we kind of talked about it. Good win for Aljo. We already talked about who you should be fighting next. O'Malley definitely got a gift decision there, seeming like he doesn't want the title shot next. So curious to see how that one goes down. Big win for Benil Dariush. Made it look somewhat easy. You know, Gamera, I'm not sure why he kept going for those takedowns. Made no sense to me. Curtain jerker, Furo edges out that decision over Chukagian. Good win for her. Bilal, big win over Sean Brady. Finishes him as well. Yeah, you got to give him a big test up next. Colby Covington, Hamzat Shmaev. Those are the only two guys he should be facing. Maybe even Gilbert Burns. But anybody outside of those three guys, I'd be surprised if he accepts any of those fights. What else do we have? Bahayo grinds it out over Muradov, but Bahayo would definitely be a fade. You know, I know he has a ceiling. I knew Muradov was not the guy to capture it, though. Good win from Krylov, grinding out Uzdemir. Interested to see how they line up Krylov moving next. Nurmagomedov, you know, he's just lingering in that welterweight division. Armin Petrosian will always go out there and outstrike dudes, but given his takedown defense liability, I don't think he'll ever be able to crack that top 8 of that division. Good win from Mokaev, but you know, a lot of people expect him to squash him a lot sooner. Showed off some holes as well. Shout out to Malcolm Gordon for putting up more of a test than Mokaev was ready for. And good win for Carol Hossa. Close fight there. Got a point taken away, but I still thought she did enough to win that fight. All right, let's get back to the live chat here. David Dean saying, Lock, you big on Jacoby. I always bet him wrong. He is fighting Roundtree. I'm leaning Jacoby there, but I probably won't go super deep on him there. You know, we got to respect Roundtree's power, the confidence that he has coming into the cage nowadays as well. That's something you got to worry about. But I think that Dustin is the better overall fighter, and he should be able to chip his way to a decision victory. Plus 130 is the over 2.5 right now as well. It's still early for these overs, but yeah, plus 130 on the over 2.5. Not a bad spot usually for Justin or Dustin Jacoby fights, considering how conservative and disciplined he usually fights. Pajo saying minus 300 Islam versus Volk. Definitely take a sprinkle on Volk. I agree. David saying Patty is minus 165 over Gordon. I want to smash it. Wow. I'm taking, you know, Gordon is the guy that I've been waiting for to fight Patty. He's plus 140 now, plus 160 over on Bet Online. I would take the sprinkle on Jared Gordon. I really would. I would. Yeah, I've been waiting for that. David Dean saying, "Do you think 280 delivered?" It was kind of slow. The prelims, the prelims were, they definitely underdelivered in my opinion. Main card, we knew what we were going to get with Fito and Chukagian. Dariush Gamrot was fun. Jan O'Malley was fun. The Dillashaw fight was a bit of a bummer considering that they had an injury. And then obviously the Makhachev fight was great as well. I think it was the gravity of those like top four fights that made 280 deliver, at least in my eyes. But in terms of an entire card, looking at it from like prelims and everything, I think it kind of under delivered. I don't know if it I don't know if it really met my expectations of what we were expecting from that card. And again, the prelims really felt like they were slugging on. Um, Personally, I thought 281 from an overall perspective will likely be a better card. So we'll find out how it goes down in November and whether it is actually the better card. Um, but yeah, I really thought that 280 could have been better. Marcus saying the UFC would be making a poor business money making decision by not booking Sterling versus O'Malley. The fight is easy, the most marketable fight at 135 pounds. Bingo. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Dude saying, listen, Locke. Patty wanted that fight. If he wanted it, I think there's a good reason. But either way, it's the lowest line. It's the lowest this line is going to be on Patty. Well, then I'll wait and I'll get plus 200 hopefully on Jared Gooden or Jared Gordon. And again, it doesn't matter whether a fighter wants to fight or not. It's still at the end of the day, they have to go out there and compete. I think Jared Gordon is a tough stylistic match for Patty, personally speaking. So we shall see. West Coast and TJ should be cut. Unprofessional and lost people money. Yeah, the fact that he knew about it since fucking April is nuts. And he still fought. I'll never get over that. Justin Villegas saying it delivered a little. The time was off. I was at Dave and Buster's rooting before 12 p.m. You fucking savage. Addicted to combat in the chat. The guy saying the prelims under delivered, but were super tense betting wise. Yes, they were. Stupid me though. I was pretty much betting violence throughout those prelims. Well, at least two of the fights. I bet the under 1.5 in the Makai fight. That obviously doesn't come to fruition. Petrosian Dobson had the under 2.5 there. That one kind of sucked as well. And then obviously I had Uzdemir, and he really shit the bed after coming out hot in those first 30 seconds. West Coast saying a little bit of buzzing, but manageable. No buzzing out. Okay, thank you. I wonder why that was. Justin saying Bilal was the show of the night. Yeah, he man, the fact that he got the finish really turned it on. And yeah, you don't normally see Bilal getting the finish. So I feel bad for Brady. You know what I mean? He's gonna get a lot of people hating on him now, a lot of people talking shit about him, probably even fading him moving forward, which I think would be unadvisable. Um, but yeah, this is a good learning experience for him. Solid learning experience. My guy Marcus Williams, I know he took a big L on Sean Brady this week, and he's saying Bilal performed a lot better than I expected. I took an L on Brady. I can't remember the last time Bilal knocked out anyone. Yes. Let's see the last time Bilal actually beat somebody by finish. Off the top of my head, I can't. I know he submitted Takashi Sato. Yeah, he submitted Takashi Sato in September of 2019. But the last time he won via TKO, he TKO'd Augusto Montano, Dodger Montano, way back in September of 2016, where he just grinded him for the first 2.5 rounds and then finished him with about less than a minute left in that third round. He also finished Steve Carl in round 4 back in April of 2016 when he was still the Titan FC champion. So, yeah, Bilal, if he can get you at that pace, that's how he wins. Sansons in the chat saying, hope you had a good birthday weekend, my guy. You know what it is. I very much enjoyed it. Sanson saying Paulo Silva gotta be on the Silva side, and if you can still get plus money on him, I take a shot. But my only hesitation is usually there's always some fuckery about what these novelty fights, these novelty YouTube boxing matchups. I'm hoping there's not. You know, what I mean, a guy like Anderson Silva, I would believe would not want to mess up his legacy at all by taking a dive of any sort. So if Jake Paul actually beats him, it's probably a legitimate win. But man, Anderson Silva should rough him up and possibly knock him out later in this fight. David saying they've not built up just to give that Sugar rub on Aljo. It's a bad matchup for Sugar, and they know it. They would give Sugar a match much more winnable top 10 in a fight, and that man is Sandhagen. They have not. Oh, yep. I think I would love to see Sugar versus Cheeto again. I think that has a very good storyline there. But yeah, if they're not going to give Sugar the title shot, I guess maybe give Cheeto the title shot. Could see that as well. Aaron saying all three of those people who bet Bilal TK are laughing all the way to the bank. Yes, they are. Sanson saying all two. Hilarious. Marcus saying, I got my eyes on Duplessis at minus 125 over Till. Also waiting to see Jonathan Pierce betting line versus Darren Elkins. I think that's going to be very chalky. I'd be surprised if you can get anything better than minus 300 on Jonathan Pierce against Darren Elkins. Twen Nariano, I'm going to keep butchering your name. I apologize. He's saying, I'm not surprised O'Malley doesn't want Sterling. He knows he gets smoked. Even O'Malley knows he got lucky against Yan. And I got to give him some respect, man. Hats off to Sean O'Malley for spitting it like it was on the post-fight press or the post-fight interview that he did with Cormier in the cage. He didn't know if he won that fight or even if he deserved it. So, you know, you'd expect a guy with that type of persona to go out there and just be like, yeah, I just beat the number one guy in the world. Give me the winner of the co-main event. Let's fucking go. And he was realistic about it. Shout out to Sean O'Malley. Did not expect that from him. Zach Johnson saying, dude, it's a huge payday for Silva. Has he ever gotten one? It's worth a dive. I don't know, man. Dive or legacy? I don't know. Aiden saying, shout out to all those people who laughed when I said Bilal by KO in the chat last week. Shout out to Aiden Samo getting it done. Good for you, my friend. Zach saying, watch them dance together in the photo shoot. They look chummy. I don't know, man. I think they're just good. Like Jake has all the respect in the world for him, and Anderson is just an Anderson kind of guy. He's very happy-go-lucky nowadays. Paz was saying, I've bet against Van Duren all of his fights in the UFC, but I think this is the one time I might actually bet him. Winnable matchup versus Waldo. Thoughts on that matchup? If he can go out there and do what he does, he should be able to out volume Waldo here. You know, I think the line is a little bit wide on first look, but yeah, I don't know. I think I lean Vandera the more that I'm thinking about it as well. Like when he fights his fight, it looks like the Justin Taffa fight, right? Output, movement, volume. Thought he could do it against Chase Sherman. He shit the bet against Chase Sherman. But this Waldo guy seems very reliant on landing big power on his opponents. I got to go back and do the tape on him. But at minus 210, you know, I felt like he had limited paths to victory to cover that price tag. David Dean saying, thoughts on Kyle Bahayo? I think he is a soon-to-be contender. He called out Fluffy Hernandez after the fight. I think Fluffy would murk him. I honestly think Fluffy, even my guy Paisley here saying Fluffy destroys Kyle. He won't be able to keep up with that pace. Fluffy is legit. I agree. Yeah, I think Fluffy defeats Kyle. And if you give me plus money on that, I'd be all over that. Maybe even as a lock of the night play. Matt R saying Sugar and Cheetah have to fight for number one contendership. Depends on when Aljo wants to come back, right? He didn't really take much damage in that fight. He could make a quick turnaround here. Let's see who they put in front of him, though. Sanson's saying, damn, Anderson is plus 120. This is crazy. Yep. If you don't think this fight is sketchy in any sort, go balls to the wall with that plus 120. I just have a little bit of concern personally. Marcus Williams saying, who do you have winning Bryce versus Toporia for December 10th? What do you think the opening betting line will be? Well, the betting line is already there. Yes, Daniel's already said minus 220 on Ilya. I lean Ilya, but I have no interest in betting that line. You know, I feel like we've been sold a bill of goods on Ilya Topuria, but not so much from what we've been seeing inside the cage. Yeah, I like Ilya there, but I just don't know if I can get behind that line. Zach saying it's a pass. Aiden saying Hooper by sub seems like a nice play this week. Yeah, Steve Garcia, excuse me, not the best. Might be a good spot for Hooper, but Sub probably the better way to go rather than paying minus 240 on a kid like Chase Hooper. David Dean saying no confidence in Vendor in any way. Again, this Waldo Cortez Acosta guy seemed kind of limited from what I remember. Aiden Smo saying Vendor around 2 and round 3 sprinkle. I could see that. Zach saying I think Fluffy kills him too. I love it. Aiden saying Kyle had smart fight IQ, but nothing he does is elite. I agree. I don't think he'll be able to keep up with that pace of Fluffy. Lajon saying, still remember when Elliot Marshall gave you shit for comparing Fluffy to Kane, and then the next fight the announcer said Fluffy reminded them of Kane. Yeah. Not just any announcer. Kane's main training partner, Daniel Cormier, said he saw flashes of Kane there. I'll always give my guy Elliot some shit about that. Zach saying, don't fade Mitchell. He's a damn dog. Lajon Dreams saying, how's Toporia's ground game? I could be wrong on this. I know he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but I think he's the first ever Spanish black belt, like guy that rep Spain. I think he's the first ever guy to be a black belt there. I could be wrong. I don't know where I heard that. I might be talking out of my ass, but his ground game is pretty good. It's pretty good. Danny's saying Ilya is the real deal, just like Islam. The talk around him is legit. Yes, I've been on the Ilya Toporia train since he beat that guy on Cage Warriors, Brian Bouland. This was in August of 2018. He went into that fight as a underdog, if I remember correctly, and he choked out Bouland in a minute and a half. Sanson saying he's more known for his ground game. Yep. Lajon saying I thought he had heavy hands. Nope, he is more known for his ground game for sure. But yeah, that Bryce Mitchell like control and strength. Who knows how that could throw a wrench into Toporia's plans as well. He always manages to get these weird positions and stalls guys out in these spots that they just can't get out of. Yeah, I gotta run the tape before I say anything about that. And saying Ilya's good, but damn, plus 180 on Mitchell is nice. I had Barboza and he embarrassed me that night. Well, this is a much different opponent than Barboza. Let's remember that. But yes, on first thoughts, I think the line is just a little bit too wide here. Sanson saying should be a banger indeed. I got Ilya all day. You betting that minus 220 though? I think that's a little bit wide. I think that line is a little too wide. I gotta say, I had some goat meat last night. I don't know if anybody likes goat meat or goat curry. That's all I'm thinking about right now. I got some leftovers, so I'll be chowing down on that very shortly. Um, but looking forward to that. Ooh. David Dean saying Uncle Live minus 210 against Blahovic. Apologies for that. I love that line too. There's going to be people that are going to try to make up a case for Blahovic, but Ankalaev is the truth, folks. Zach Johnson saying Mitchell wouldn't strike you as a smart guy, but he's got some of the best cage IQ. That is true. Danny's saying if it's 3 rounds, Ilya wins all way. It is 3 rounds. Lajon saying Bryce got that natural farm boy strength. Yes, that is true. Danny's saying you had LeBron meat. Yes, I had LeBron meat. That's hilarious. Paizo saying jealous like goat curry is great. Oh, it's so good. My backyard neighbors like have it perfected. So they made like over 7.5 pounds of it yesterday. And then they have a tandoor as well. So we're making like a tandoori naan, like fresh. So good. So fucking tasty. They glaze it so good. Yeah. So good. So good. So good. Aiden Small saying, did 280 live up to the hype? Main card was 6, but prelims were boring as shit. Somebody asked us a little bit early in the live chat, but yes, those are my exact thoughts. Main card was good because of the gravity of every single matchup, but the prelims felt like they were just slugging on a little bit too much. Usman saying, Locke, have you ever had Nahadi? Sounds familiar. What is that though? David Dean saying, Locke, I don't know what to make of Holland versus Wonderboy. I'm leaning Wonderboy myself, especially if this is a striking contest. Do they have odds up for that? Yeah. Oh, even money. At even money, you have my intrigue on the One Boy Thompson side. I'll be surprised if Kevin Holland tries to take a grapple heavy approach, but I think that Wonder Boy could touch him up on the feet here. But yeah, I like Wonder Boy striking for sure. Sansa saying if it gets down to minus 200 or less, I'd bet it. Oh, he's talking about Ilya. That's better than minus 220 for sure. Paizo saying they got a tandoor too. Damn, you got some great neighbors. Well, it's so my backyard neighbors are the one with the tandoor, and we had goat meat with them. My side door neighbor, he's the electrician that like has a fucking all the drinks in the world that you can imagine alcohol wise. Let's see. Then you're saying should have had elk meat, especially wearing that shirt. Goat meat is so good. I don't know if you guys have ever tried goat meat, but it is so fucking good. Lajon Dream saying, yeah, I gotta be close to 40 now. Is he not? He is. He's getting up there. How old is he now? 39. He'll be 40 in February. He's lucky he's fighting at a higher weight class though, because you can get away with it a little bit there, but not when you're technically outdone by a guy like Magomed Ankalaev. David Dean saying, has anyone here ever hit a 20 leg parlay? Thanks. Um, I think the closest I hit was like an 18 legger or 13 legger. I can't recall what it was. I've hit a big one before, a couple times. Not often though. Aaron's saying going big on Silva this weekend. Jake's cashed after 4 rounds. No cardio. Anderson will walk away with it in the later rounds. 10-unit play. I like it. I like it. Pink Freud in the chat saying lines are open on Blanchfield Maverick. How do you feel towards parlays with them? Trying to stop myself for putting them on every pick I make. They should cruise. What is Blanchfield here? Oh, minus 285 on Aaron Blanchfield. She opened up minus 500, and there's been steady money coming in on Molly McCann since then. Interesting. Maybe that opener was a little wide. We can be honest about that. Chris Gutierrez minus 200 against Frankie Edgar. Here, let's quickly talk about some of these odds that just dropped, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Josh Parisian minus 130 over Chase Sherman. I don't mind that. Mario Bautista minus 235 against Benito Lopez. I like that. Chilton Almeida minus 700 against Maxime Grishin. Neil Magny minus 120 against Daniel Rodriguez. That would definitely be a bet for me. Marina Rodriguez minus 175 against Amanda Lemos. I like that. Aspen Ladd minus 240 against Julia Budd. I think that line is just way too wide. I think that's dumb. We talked about PFL last time, so I'll skip that. Yeah, Miranda Maverick minus 500 makes sense. Poliana Vienna at plus 100 against Jinyu Fry could be a good bet. I think her aggressiveness could get her the W there. Shailan Erdenbekia minus 200 against Derek Minner. I think that makes sense. Jake Haley minus 275 against Carlos Candelario. I don't know. I think that line's a little bit wide there. Johnny Munoz Jr. minus 190 against Sholinian. Not bad. Here, Ulanbekov only minus 180 against Nate Maness. But Nate, if he can keep this fight upright, might be a live underdog in that spot. Prohaska minus 200 against Glover Teixeira. Ankalaev minus 210 against Blachowicz. Shavkat Rakhmonov minus 300 against Jeff Neal. Arman Sarukian minus 215 against Demiris Bagulov. Not bad. Minus 150 on Dan Hooker against Claudio Poyas. I like that line. Hanato Moicano minus 115 against Brad Riddell. I like that. Sungu Choi minus 155 against Mike Trezano. I like that. Oh, wow. Savannah Gomez, Juarez versus Kovacevic should be a fun fight. I kind of lean Juarez now that I'm thinking about it. Closely line fight there. Pretty much a pick 'em. Petrosky minus 200 against Wellington Thurman. Doesn't look too shabby. Dominic Reyes minus 220 against Ryan Spann. It's just that layoff that scares me, but he is the much better fighter there for sure. Nikolai Negomarianu plus 110 against Carlos Ulberg. Sign me up. Montel Jackson minus 200 against Julio Arce. Arce could be live there. Arce could absolutely be live there. Some good odds there for you guys. Lajon wants Trailblazers to win. I know you do. I know you do. Aiden Smo saying Hooper by sub plus 250. Think that's a good number. I feel that's super live. Pretty sure Steve Garcia has been subbed a good amount of times. Yeah, plus 250 on a Chase Hooper fight, especially with him as a minus 260 favorite. That's likely the way to go about it. Zach Johnson saying one boy cost me in my last two. Yeah, very unfortunate losses from there. Marcus Williams saying, do you think John Jones will fight a heavyweight? The longer his return drags out as he gets older, I'm leaning towards no return. He will definitely fight. I'll be surprised if he does not fight by March, though. After that, I'm done without it. Zach saying, I almost been waiting to fade him. I don't know if Kevin Holland is the guy to fade him with, though. Meatball may have a chance against Blanchfield. I really do. I don't know, man. I don't know. Still leaning Blanchfield there pretty bigly. Paizo saying Gomez Juarez only minus 105 against Carolina. Am I missing something? Carolina looks washed, and Gomez Juarez has heavy hands. I lean with you on Juarez, my friend. I do as well. I took Carolina against Felice Herrig, but that's likely where the buck stops for me. Usman saying it's basically goat meat cooked in a stew over the course of 12 plus hours. Very good. Recommended trying it at a Desi restaurant. I'll give it a try. Because, like, even if you don't make goat meat for that long, like, it's still already, like, fall off the bone type of meat. David saying Blanchfield shows some holes in the last matchup and Meatball is steadily improving. Yeah, that's where running the tape is very important for me. I'm trying to remember those spots, but I don't. I really don't. Bad news saying you hit big on 280. I did not. I lost 2.5 units, but all thanks to Islam Makhachev, I was able to cut that into half. But most of my predictions were pretty shit on 280 outside of the main event. And saying KK by sub easy money. I don't know if it's easy money, my friend. She's not really a jiu-jitsu player, and I think she just caught Felice Herrig at the right moment. Aiden saying Otman Azaitar plus 130 easy. Rather than playing that plus 130, I'd be looking forward to seeing what Azaitar round one is. I've been able to cash it a couple times, and I feel like if he does win this fight, it's going to come in that first round against Frivolo, who has looked sketchy in terms of his chin in the past. So that's what it is. Aiden Smo saying Juarez can't defend a sub for her life. We'll see how how aggressive KK is with actually getting that fight to the ground. Don't Tap Podcast in the chat as well. Appreciate you stopping by. All right, I'm gonna start wrapping this thing up. I'll take this last question here from my guy Marcus Williams, but that's pretty much an hour here. Let's see. Whose stock do you think dropped the most at UFC 280? Let's see. Whose stock dropped the most? I gotta say, I think Volkan Oezdemir. I think he really needed this win. I don't think we'll see him be in that top five or challenging for a title anymore. I gotta think that it was his who dropped the most, right? Piotr Jan, he deserved to win that fight. Really can't say that his stock dropped. Charles Oliveira, just got his 11 fight winning streak snapped. I don't think his stock dropped that much. TJ Dillashaw, maybe his stock in terms of just being a dumbass. Maybe that's what it is, but I don't know. I gotta say Volkan. Just quickly looking at it. Prize was saying Brady stock. Actually, yeah, you know what? Brady's stock probably dropped quite a lot there. That's a good point. Prize was saying KO'd by Bilal is a horrible look. Yes, I think you're right there, man. Good point. Don't Tap saying hit Malcolm Gordon over 1.5. Bilal dog then got destroyed on my biggest play and undisclosed shoulder injury on a Yan lost kick my ass. Yeah, that was shitty. All right, that's the 1 hour mark. Appreciate everybody checking out the stream. As always, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys tomorrow for one, this MMA Lock Talk, and then two, for the premiere of the MMA Lockcast, where I break down the full card for this weekend's fights. So make sure you guys check that out. All right. Love all you guys, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.